Okay, let me just stop right there and get focused. I tend to psychologically shy away from getting into this because it's such a upsetting subject and so real. I want to start out with the audio of the 1-minute government paid for video that we have up on Infowars.com. This is AmeriCorps paramilitary propaganda ad. And when you watch this ad and you study it, it's absolutely horrifying. When you have the background knowledge of what you're witnessing, it's even more horrifying. But anybody can watch this and say, what is this, straight out of Soviet Russia or Communist China? I would say it's more akin to Communist China or Cuba, Communist Cuba. Now, this uniform they're wearing, I saw different bills. Bill Clinton got passed to start this in 1997. I talked about it in my film Police State 2000 in 1998. 99. But in some of the legislation they've passed, it says gray uniforms, and we have seen those. And that's going to be for more of the paramilitaries, more of the cream of the youth corps. Then the next category are going to wear red jackets with khaki shirts and khaki pants that looks like something out of a science fiction dystopia. And I know this because in the U.S., we first learned of this about 7-8 years ago. In England, we learned of this 2 years ago. They're also doing it in Japan, in Germany, in the Netherlands, in Ireland. And they're doing it with the Boy Scouts overseas, the Boy Scouts here. They're doing it with Secure Corps, division of AmeriCorps. They're doing it with public school children, putting them in uniforms, but only, on the weekends when they take part in federally funded under BATF, FBI grants, you name it. And so when I saw this video this morning put out by the federal government with taxpayer money, it shows them doing push-ups and squat thrust and, basic military maneuvers out in a military training field with officers in front of them in their new fascist uniforms with arm patches, armbands. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than this. And it horrified me because I keep seeing this same uniform pop up worldwide. This is global. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is the audio of the video.
We don't stop.
I am change. I've been around since the beginning of time.
Ask not what your country can do for you.
Over the years, I've had many faces. Over the years, I've had many looks. But I've always had the same goals. To make this world a better place by helping those who need it most. To never turn my back when things get tough. And to show that positive can always overpower negative.
All right, that's enough. I can't listen anymore of it. Yeah, positive. That means I don't think, I'm just positive and follow orders. And they show pictures of Martin Luther King and Gandhi. Martin Luther King and Gandhi would have fought against what's happening right now. You better believe it. So this is almost like if the Nazis rolled themselves in happy, lovey, liberal packaging. But when you study what the actual training is, it's to spy on neighbors. It's to have a national security force as big and strong as our military. And then you read specifically what the White House says. It's going to be compulsory at military camps. Rahm Emanuel's on record. It's been at change.gov. But they're in uniforms, chanting and marching and with flags and out there drilling. I mean, it's a field marshal basically running it. All of this going on, and this is just the public face of it to sell the population. When you get down to the nitty-gritty, it's what the New York Times reported on. But again, they reported it with a positive light as well, with showing big color photos of 14 to 17-year-old Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, marching around with MP5 submachine guns, practicing, quote, taking on U.S. veterans. And then you see all the mainstream articles over the last few years about how they're training every local department in the country, the feds are, to prepare for improvised explosive devices. And they're telling local police, harden your local facilities, get ready for terrorism. The number one threat is in Al-Qaeda now. It's former military people and gun owners. And the DHS report says that. And libertarians and don't tread on me people and folks that won't turn their guns in. And then you find out that under Secure Corps, and I first saw this 7 years ago in the Philadelphia Daily News, it said a division of AmeriCorps that you just heard the ad from, with them out marching around in red uniforms. You know, what is this, Mortal Kombat or something? And they're almost dressed like the bad guy from Mortal Kombat. I mean, this is really good. These are actual commie outfits. I mean, talk about, this is unbelievable. I mean, you might as well wear like leather jackets and leather ball caps or something. I mean, it's just out of control. Armbands, the whole 9 yards. And the young, stupid kids love this, folks. They love playing with guns. They love being able to march around and drill. They love being made to feel important. And so they're now launching this with millions of youth nationwide. That means within 2 years, they'll be ready to move against the population. 4 years, really ready to move. And you watch, when Barack Obama leaves in 4 to 8 years, the next president, whether it's a Republican or Democrat, they're going to expand it. Because the presidents are now just front men and puppets. So I want to give you some of the background of this. But if you notice, it's not ITT technical anymore. It's ITT, law enforcement, security guards training. It's not how to fix computers. It's not how to make computers. It's how to be a cop or a rent-a-cop. And the public schools have these law enforcement semesters in high school and junior high where they train them to write dossiers on their parents. And now the New York Times reports as if it's a good thing that children are telling their parents to turn the faucet off and don't water the yard and bossing their parents around and tattling on their parents. Oh, isn't it cute? No, it's not cute. It's hardcore scientific tyranny. Stay with us. We'll break it down and take your calls on the other side. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, you know, I don't want to do a disservice here. I don't want to come on air and just calmly report on this and in a way condition people to accept it. This is a big deal. This is really bad. Let's say there's a list of 100 things the government checks off to bring a nation into total tyranny and bondage and oppression. And one of the biggest ones you check off is indoctrinating the youth paramilitarily to train the central government, to serve the central government, to be trained by the central government. And that is what is happening now. And I keep telling people it's in government documents, it's being set up, it's being done. When I was in high school, they were just now, this is like 18 years ago, hard to believe I'm getting that old, they were already setting up that you could take a law enforcement semester. But then it was just learning about it, and I didn't do it. Now I've gotten the grants, the federal grants to the schools, and the BATF or the FBI or the federal marshals or different grants. They federalize a local group of police officers or sheriff's deputies, and then they go teach the federal curriculum. And it is what is in your parents' medicine cabinet. And then it's let's go out with M16s or toy M16s at first, then real ones later, and do warrant service training. Let's practice running checkpoints.